Hey everybody, welcome to Bead Table Wednesday. Hello, hello. I'm a few minutes late, sorry about that, so I'll give people a minute to straggle on in and find me here on my Humblebeads channel. So if you're new, this is Bead Table Wednesday where I show you a free project, and I'm Heather Powers from Humblebeads. I'm a jewelry designer, bead maker, author, teacher, all around creative hurricane. Can I call myself that? Sure I can. So hello guys, welcome to Bead Table Wednesday. What we're going to be doing today is making sari ribbon roses. So if you're like me and you have a ridiculous amount of sari ribbon, here is a great little project that uses 12 inches of sari ribbon, so you can use a foot at a time and really dig into your pile of scraps, which I know I have like a box. It's a little on the ridiculous side. So here's another view of it. Hey guys, I see you're popping up. So hi Janini, Sue, Deb, welcome guys. I'm doing great, Sue Woods, thanks for asking. Hi Anne from Gardan Beads, good to have you here, and Valerie. So this is what we're going to be making. It's super fun, easy, simple. It's a great little project and you're going to just love using up your sari ribbon for all of this. So I did this at the retreat, the Adornments retreat last week for a make and take, and it was really fun, and we whipped up a ton of roses. So that's what we're going to do today. And how you guys doing? It's so nice to see you guys here. It's nice to see friends from the retreat. So hello everybody, glad to have you here. I'm gonna just fiddle around with my supplies. I'll show you a better view. How about some beads? You'd rather look at that while I poke through my stuff, right? So this is filigree. These are little leaves from Yandana Beads, and I'll post the link later today. And they come in different metal finishes, and I just painted these with vintage patina white paint. So I just gave them a little quick coat of white to make them have that shabby chic look. So they come like in copper, brass, those kind of finishes, or like a bright silver. But this is, I used copper underneath and then just did a quick little coat of the vintage patina white paint. So that's that. You can use this project, and in my tutorial that I'm going to share with you guys, because I actually have directions written, because this is a project that I shared a variation of this a long time ago on the art bead scene, and this is the vintage filigree that I used for the backing of my first roses. So I'm trying to figure out where my camera is. There we go. So you can use any kind of filigree for the back of this. I thought the rose was really cute on the leaf filigree. What you need is something that you can sew the rose onto. So that's why you need like a filigree, so you can sew in between the little holes here. So that's what I used that for. And the sari silk, you know, it comes in every color of the rainbow. So I think I'm going to do one of these bright orange ones, because I want to match it up with my birds. So I have 12 inches of sari silk, and it doesn't matter if you're using thinner or thicker sari silk, anything will work, and I'll show you some little tricks for working with the thicker sari silk. And just for example, this would be what I would consider thinner. So both will work. This was done to make this rose right here. So if you want a fuller rose, you might want to use 15 inches instead of 12 inches if you have thin ribbon. But I found that the 12 inches, even with this ribbon, you just had to have it fuller when we make the rose. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So 12 inches of sari silk. Where I get all of my sari silk from is Design Talented One, who is going out of business. I could just cry. So she's not going out of business. She's moving on to other creative pursuits, which is awesome. She should. She's worked hard for a long time, and so that'll be good for her. But I will really miss buying silk from her. She's having her last silk sale August 4th, And so just like her page on Facebook, Design Talented One, and you can hopefully we'll all be able to grab some silk. I think she said she had like 14 boxes of silk, so we're such gluttons. I need more silk, right? Hello everyone. Hey, Cassandra from my favorite bead store, Beads to Live By, and Shelley Cummings and Mary Lynn and Marilyn, friends from the retreat. Glad to have you guys here. So the kind of thread I'm using, you can use, this is Nemo or Nemo thread, and you can get this at your local Hobby Lobby or Michael's or your local bead store. If you have a local bead store, check out those guys first. The other kind of thread you can use, which is actually kind of a higher quality and I prefer, but I don't have it in this color, so I will just have to make do and make a note to order orange 1G thread. So this thread, it just doesn't it doesn't fray as quickly in my experience, and it's just a nicer quality, higher quality thread. So 1G or Nemo, I don't know how to say it. I'm not a beader. It's NYMO thread, or you can just look up beading thread and it will pop up. And there's different kind of sizes for thread, and this is just like a medium weight. I don't know. Just beading thread. That's all you need. And what you need is about 36 inches. And you know what? I really should have threaded this before I started the video, because this is the hardest part, is seeing the needle on the thread. This is a little needle threader. If you haven't seen this, you poke it through your needle, slide your, yeah, sure you do. Slide your thread through that little wire loop, and then you pull, and it pulls your thread right through the needle, so you don't have to try to figure that out. I know my sewing girls at the retreat, they just could thread the needle in a second. I would take forever. So what you want to do is double over your thread, so you have double thread for this, and we're going to tie a knot at the end, and tie a double knot so that you have a nice thick knot. So I'm just taking the two ends, getting them even, and gonna tie them together to make a double knot. Kind of a butterfingers today. What's going on? 1, 2. So nice thick knot, and I'm gonna cut off my thread because I'm not going to need to hide it later, so I just want that to be out of the way. And these are the lentils. This is the necklace that I made up, and so let me show you a picture. There you go. So you can see I'm using the rose pendant on the bottom, and then I have a lentil, a star cut bead, and a faceted wood bead. So I'll tell you all about that when it's time. So these are my lentils. I also thought the project would look cool with a bird. Don't you think, guys? Like, that would be adorable too. So if you are a lucky owner of a Humblebeads bird, you could match up your rose to the bird. But for this design, I'm going to use the lentil. And so let me just pick which one I love the most. I think that one's calling my name. So, if you could see the hurricane that's around my desk right now. I haven't really unpacked from the retreat. It takes me a few weeks to get my life back in order after a big event. That's just the way it goes. If you have any knots or seams on your ribbon, cut them off. So that's what I did right there. And this actually has a really nice ombre effect of a light and dark. So I think I'm going to start with the light and then work to the darker color. Now what you want to do before you start is just pull your ribbon along the edges to get rid of any loose threads. You know, sari ribbon can have loose threads, so I'm just pulling along the edge to get rid of all those little loose threads. Just makes life easier. You could leave them in, but I like the cleaner look of this. So you can see here's all my little thread that came off the sari ribbon, so I'm going to throw that away. Get myself situated here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to start with the end of your ribbon, and you're going to start, it naturally folds, and so what I want is I want the closed part of the fold up and the open part of the fold down. And I'm actually going to fold it over one more time since it's so thick, and I'm going to, didn't get all my threads off, I'm going to clean that up just a little bit more. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is you're going to roll this into like a little nub to work with. I don't know what else to call it. So you're going to roll the ribbon onto itself like that. And if your ribbon's really thick, you can pinch the corner of it. You guys see how I'm doing that? So this is the top part of the ribbon that's closed, and this is the bottom. And I'm going to take this little corner and just fold it over, just so that I can shrink the width of what this rose is going to look like when it's done. And I'm going to keep rolling another 2 or 3 times. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my needle and thread, and I'm going to sew through this little nub, sew directly through from end to end, side to side. Let me say it the right way. And you might want to have pliers handy because the ribbon can be kind of thick, so a pair of pliers will help you get that pulled through a little quicker. Okay, so what you're going to do now is this thread is going to stay underneath as we roll this ribbon. So you want this thread to be out of the way underneath where you're working. So this is the top and this is underneath, and you want to keep your thread down below. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top of my ribbon and give it a little twist and roll, and I'm going to twist that ribbon again. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep twisting this ribbon as I roll it along, and that's what's going to give it that little rose petal look. Now after I do this about four times, you're going to want to take your needle and pull it through side to side of your ribbon. I'm using the table to press the needle through. So what I'm doing when I'm sewing this is just so that my ribbon doesn't unroll. Okay, and so now I'm going to keep doing this with the rest of my ribbon, where I'm twisting it over and rolling. And what you want to do is you want to have your ribbon not tight, you want this to be a little looser as you're going, and make sure your thread stays underneath the rose as you're twisting and rolling. Oh, this is going to be a really pretty one. Every rose is going to look different. We did 50 roses at the retreat, and every single person's rose looked a little different. You are all unique gardeners, so don't worry about these being perfect. They're super, super forgiving, and they all look fantastic. No matter what the variation turns out, they all look great. Okay, I'm going to pull my needle through again and tack that ribbon together. Yes, Sue, we should have had pliers. That would have made pulling the needle through much easier. Okay, now I'm going to keep rolling and twisting. So you see how I'm twisting that ribbon and then just rolling it around onto itself. The more twisting you do, the more flower petally it looks. And you just kind of play with it. Make sure that string stays down below. You don't want that to get in your way. I'm almost to the end here. And when you do get to the end, what you want is for your ribbon to end towards the bottom of the rose. So you don't want your rose to, the end of your ribbon here, to be sticking up like that. So we're going to tack it so that it sticks down. But first what I'm going to do is run the thread through my rose again. I'm going to use the table to pull it through, and then my pliers. Oop, catching beads, and I almost got a knot. Oh no. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to sew back again because I need to get over to the side of my end of my thread here. But it was too loose for me just to start sewing, so that's why I did that. So I'm going to pull this back through and get to the side of my where the end of my ribbon is, and I'm going to sew that down a few times so that it's not sticking out. And you don't have to go all the way through, you just have to go to the bottom, and then you can go back up. Oops, my thread's catching on everything. Oh, I see you guys are talking amongst yourselves. I love that. So nice to have you guys here from the retreat. The retreat was so much fun, guys. Make plans to join us next year. It's going to be the second weekend, well, the same weekend that we just had. It was at the third week in July. We've already booked it, and so Adornment's Retreat, that will be a yearly event, so we're super excited about that. Okay, now I kind of have this part that I'm not crazy about. It's a little loose, so what I'm going to do is just take my thread and sew it into my rose a little bit tighter. So that's why I said it's super forgiving. You can't really mess these up. You just, if you have anything that you're not crazy about, you can just use your thread and needle to sculpt it a little more to your liking. And I want to say hi to my mom and Roseanne. I don't know if my mom's watching. She's taking care of my sister this week who had surgery on her hands. And then Roseanne, I saw your message about the lentil, and yes, you better get over here today though, or tomorrow. Okay, here's my finished rose. How cool is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my filigree, and there's definitely a front and a back to this, so I'm going to make sure I put my rose on the front, and I'm just going to pull my needle through any of the slots on this filigree that are close to where my ribbon just ended. Okay, and I'm going to go back up in the next little compartment over on the filigree, and what I want to do, if your hole's a little too small on this leaf filigree, just go to the next hole. What you want to do is come up in between the flower petals, so you don't want to go through like the pretty silk part. You want to go through the holes on the petal. And I'm going to go back down, and I'm just feeling with my needle where a good little hole is, just to get through. And if it's tight, just pull it out and pull it through the next needle. Oh, and make sure you guys are using beading needles and not sewing needles. So these are special needles. These aren't needles that you find in the sewing section at the craft store. These are beading needles, which have a thinner head, and so actually seed beads can fit through them, so that's why it works with the filigree, the finer filigree like this. Oh, I had a little passenger. And the beading needle is going to be in your craft store where you find your beading thread. They'll be right next to each other. And you can use, I'd use a shorter one. I think these are 10 or 11s is the size. You don't want a real long needle. And you can see I'm working my way around my rose, tacking it down. I'm going to do this about 5 or 6 times so that it's secure onto my filigree. I don't want it to move around at all after I get these sewn on. Lynn, you had asked about silk shirts, if you could use a silk shirt. Yeah, if you know how to, I don't see why you couldn't if you know how to tear fabric, right? Where you just cut it and get to the, get it in the right direction, and then you just tear it to make strips. I think that would work. Although there's lots of Etsy sellers that sell Sari silk too, so if you can't get it from Design Talented One, you could try one of the other Etsy sellers that have Sari silk. I love the hand-dyed silk the best because it has all the variations of color and fits in more with my natural kind of look that I love so much. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more at the top here. You can see it's not wiggling around anymore on my leaf here. Okay, and now I need to get it so that I can tie the knot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it, make sure you guys can see this. I'm going to stick it right here underneath my rose. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. If you know a better knot and you're a sewer, go for it. I'm just a this is what works kind of girl. My mom did some fancy French knot so that it was super secure. I don't know how to do that. But what you can do is just, well, no, I tied a good knot in there. If you feel like you need it a little secure, you could add a little beading glue, but it's not going anywhere. And you're just going to cut that off. And there's your rose. How cute is that? Do you guys love it? Now I'm going to show you guys how to make the necklace. And that will just take a few minutes. Not even a few minutes, a few seconds. So what you're going to need for the necklace, I have 6mm jump rings, and I'm going to start with, I need 7 of those, a little bead cap, and then I'm going to use one of these star cut beads from Dakota Stones, or you can also get them from Lima Beads. I just love these. They're like a random faceted cut. It's called star cut. They're awesome. And one thing we picked up at Bead and Button that I was quite smitten with were matte stones. So that's what this is. It's a matte. I wish I had kept the paper. I don't know what kind of stone it is. It's peachy color. I'm going to use some 18 gauge parawire to start with, and so I'm going to cut just like a 4-inch piece or 3-inch piece of parawire. Yes, Beth, I am using silk ribbon, and I used 12 inches for this project, and I like to shop at Design Talented One on Etsy for my before I get too carried away. Design Talented One. Okay, so I have my little jump ring, 2 pairs of pliers. The nice thing about this filigree is there's actually a little hole on the top, so that's where I'm gonna slip in my jump ring. Oh, sounds like you got a plan going there, Susan. Make sure you share it with me when it's done. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this jump ring into the hole that's back there and tighten that up. Close my jump ring, I mean. Let me use the right terminology. Okay, so there, my jump ring is closed, and I made just a simple loop on my 18 gauge wire. And now what I didn't want were just some loops hanging on my design because they looked a little unfinished, and I just wasn't cool with that. So what I made were jump ring rosettes. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. Very, very easy. You're going to take one jump ring. It takes 3 jump rings to make a rosette. You're going to take one jump ring and attach it to the second jump ring. Close up both jump rings really tight. Okay, one jump ring closed. This jump ring just needed to be straightened out. And so I have these 2 jump rings here that are together, and I'm going to take the 3rd jump ring, and it's going to go through the middle of both of the jump rings. So this 3rd one, so these 2 I just attached together, and now the 3rd one attaches to both jump rings. And I'm going to close that up nice and tight. It's not easy doing this on camera. Okay, and now what we're going to do, I'm going to open up my loop on my wire here and slip it through my jump ring, close that up, and now I'm going to string the rosette right down the middle of all 3 of my jump rings. And then that lays on top and covers up my little loop that I wasn't crazy about. And so that's a good way to hide and disguise loops on your pendants. And now I'm going to throw on my lentil. My bead cap pointing up, and my stone bead. And now I'm going, before I do anything else, I'm going to make another little rosette with 3 of the jump rings. So you're going to make 2 rosettes. So I'm going to open the first one, slip it on to the second jump ring, close up both of these jump rings nice and tight. And then the 3rd jump ring, I'm going to open that up and slide it through both of the jump rings and close it up. And now I'm going to string this on the wire, and it goes through the middle of all 3 of the jump rings, and that forms that cute little rosette. A rosette for my rosette. Okay, now I'm going to trim off, about that much. I don't have a ruler, so, just making a large, simple loop, and the loop is going to go back towards the back of the pendant. And I'm almost done. What I need now is a big jump ring, and I buy these in bulk from Vintage Beads because I use them in like every design. And it's just a 15mm brass jump ring. It's a workhorse. It looks fantastic on everything. So I'm going to attach that. Move this stuff out of the way. 1.5mm leather in this brass or bronzy kind of color, and you need about 36 inches of this. And you're going to do a lark's knot. So you're going to center the loop, or you're going to create a loop centered on your ribbon, and you're going to pull it through. The loop is going to go through your jump ring, and then you're going to take these two ends and pull it through the loop, and then tighten that, and that's a nice little knot you have there. And now I have these really cool faceted wood beads that I got from Michael's, which is Hallcraft. So these are awesome. I love them. I shop at my local bead store and with my local peeps and small businesses as much as I can, but just sometimes I see something at Michael's and it just fits the bill. So I just have to buy it and support the big businesses too. And my money gets spread around all over the bead community. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on. And you could also use a round bead if you didn't have a big faceted wood bead. And I'm just going to tie a simple knot with both strands here at the top of my necklace or my bead. Make sure it goes all the way down. And then I will show you guys adjustable knots. I've showed this several times, but a little refresher doesn't hurt, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the two ends, lay them over the top of each other. So this is the end of my ribbon, and it's about 8 inches. I think I'm going to do a little bit more. Let's just go for about 10 inches of the leather crossing over each other. And I'm going to take one side of this leather, and make a loop. And then I take the end and I wrap it around both the top and the bottom. And I'm going to wrap this around the leather cords, the loop and the leather cord, several times, 3 or 4. And then you stick the end through the loop. And pull, maybe, if I can grab it. Here we go. So you're going to push down with your fingernail on the end and then pull it down tightly so you have a nice tight little knot. And now this is a sliding knot, so it's going to slide around. And then on the other side of the leather, about the same spot, on each side, so you don't have one knot up here and one down there. I'm going to take the end again and make a loop, and then wrap this leather around the loop and the bottom cord, and I'm wrapping that 3 or 4 times and sticking it up into the loop. Am I off camera that whole time? Here, I'll show you guys again. A moose knot, is that what it's called, Beth? That's awesome. Okay, so just so you guys can see this nice and clearly, if this is your first time seeing or doing this, I am making a loop with the small end of my leather, and then I'm taking that loose end and crossing it over, wrapping it around the loop and the bottom leather. And I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times, and then stick it through the loop, stick the end of the leather through the loop, and then as I'm pulling the end, I'm pushing down with my thumbnail and finger to get a nice tight knot. And I'm just going to trim off the ends. You can use a little dot of beading glue if you want, but I've never had one of these come apart, so knock on wood. And so now you pull on the string of the leather to make it longer, and you pull on the knots to make your cord shorter. So you pull on the leather to make it longer, pull on your knots to make your cord shorter, and that's how you have an adjustable knot on your leather necklace. So here's the finished design, and now I have one to wear with every outfit that I own. I need a yellow one because I wear yellow all the time too now, right? So those are my two designs. I will post directions. I have a link to written directions for this project in a bracelet variation. And here is the finished necklace. I used 12 inches of sari silk that I found at Design Talented One. The small jump rings, the bead cap, and the leaf filigree all come from Yandana Beads on Etsy, and I'll share that link in a minute. The wood beads I picked up at Michael's, and then the star cut stone beads were from Dakota Stones, but you can also buy those at sorry, I keep saying today. You can buy those at Lima Beads too, which is a small business here in Michigan, so great one. And you can also check out your local bead store, of course, too. I always recommend you head to your local bead store first for any supplies. I will have some kits for these later today at humblebeads.com. I'm going to put together a few cool color combinations, and I will have some in purples, oranges, blues. I'll see what else I can come up with. So those will be available at humblebeads.com later today. Lentils and birds. I do have some on humblebeads.com, but on Friday I am finally back to having a trunk show in my Humblebeads VIP group. So if you're not a member of the Humblebeads VIP group, head on over and become a member, and at 12 o'clock Eastern time in my Humblebeads group I will have my trunk show, and I have lots of birds and lentils and long beads and disc beads and some new faux tin, all sorts of cool stuff. So I hope you guys will join me for that today. And my last little commercial, quote unquote, for the day is I taught this trillium bead class at the retreat, and now that the retreat's over, I am offering this class, the trillium beads, online. And so you can learn how to make these beads right along with me. I do step-by-step videos like you just watched today, and then it has written directions with lots of photographs. And along with the class that is going to be open August 17th, you will also, on the 23rd, there's a live video that I'll do where I'll show you guys some jewelry projects featuring these beads. And then if you sign up for this class before the 5th of August, I have a free little color mixing cheat sheet with my favorite colors. So those are all some things you might want to check out at humblebeads.com. You can sign up for the class. If you sign up before the 5th, you get the free color cheat sheet, and the class will be uploaded on the 17th, but you don't have to schedule that. Like, it'll be available anytime you want to sit down and work at it at your schedule. All the videos, all the projects will be available anytime you want to download them, so you don't have to worry about having the 17th free at any time. You'll just be able to download the videos and workbook on the 17th. That's when the class will go live. So that's it, guys. That's it for Bead Table Wednesday. Make sure you join my Humblebeads VIP group. Oh, I forgot, leather. So 1.5 millimeter leather. You can get this at the Classic Bead on Etsy. Classic Bead Elements on Etsy. She has a great selection of leather, and then I will have these in my kits too. Everything that you need for the pendant will be in the kits, but the Classic Bead Elements from on Etsy, my friend Tracy Dock, she supplies me with leather, and so she's a great resource. All right, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this project. It's fun, it's easy. takes just a few minutes to make those roses, and once you get the hang of it, you'll be whipping up a whole little garden before you know it. Other things that are going on, I'm working on my fall retreat projects, and my fall retreat will be the middle of October. I'll post the dates and projects soon, and so that one, it sells out really super quick, so I don't make too big of a fuss about it because it sells out so quickly. So I offer it to the people who signed up years before, and so it's a small group. It's only 20, so it sells out really quick. So that's that. And then the bead cruise registration is going to open up at the end of the month, and you might want to check out beadcruise.com and see if you want to take a dream vacation with me next year. That will be February 17th. It's a 7-night cruise, and we have I'll be teaching my Photon class on the cruise, and then there's 3 seed beaders, and if you're not into seed beads, there's Mary Hetzenberger, who is an awesome metal instructor, and she has 3 fantastic projects for us. I'm actually going to be taking her classes, so that's the joy of putting on the events. I can actually take some of the classes. So beadcruise.com, if you're looking for a dream vacation, you might want to check that out. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll go through and read any questions that you may have in the comments and answer them, and I will leave the supply list and the directions in the comments too. Well, no, actually I think I'll do that on a separate post so that they don't get lost in the comments. Thank you guys for joining me. Shelly, thanks for saying I'm a great teacher. That's so sweet. I love sharing with you guys. All right, guys, you guys take care. Have a good week. I will see you next week right here for Bead Table Wednesday. Hopefully you guys will join me on Friday at my Humblebeads VIP group, VIP party group. Just search Humblebeads VIP party group if you need to find the link. Share this video if you think people will like it. And the trunk show is at 12 o'clock on Friday, and I will be doing some giveaways. Actually, just join my VIP group because I'm going to be doing a lot of giveaways over the next 11 days, because if you don't know, August is my month. It's my birthday on the 11th and my wedding anniversary on the 7th, and so to celebrate, I am going to be giving away lots of gift certificates over the next few days. So make sure you join my Humblebeads VIP group if you're not a member, and I'll be doing some birthday giveaways and some Mr. and Mrs. Humblebeads giveaways. So join the party over there. Have fun with us. We've been sharing Humblebeads jewelry over there for a giveaway, and I'm going to be picking the winner in just a few minutes for that challenge. All right, guys. Oh, yes, I do have my birthday buddy, my best friend, Erin Price Hintz, which I just learned how to say her name after knowing her for 7 years. I love you, Erin. We share the same birthday. I also share the birthday with my little brother. That was not planned well. Parents. No, I'm just kidding. We're 12 years apart. And, yeah, August 11th, Leo's rock. Roar. You guys have a great day. Oh, hi, Carolyn. I'm enjoying my book, just so you know. Oh, I had so much fun at the retreat. You guys got to join us next year. Just make plans. Be there. Enormous retreat. So much fun. Okay, I have to get back to making beads. Join me for my trunk show on Friday. Check out that class if you want to learn how to make beads online and want to see me in your bead studio with step-by-step videos just like I did today. And that's it, guys. You guys take care. Have a great week, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.